and then wait like 10 seconds and then say, hi, this is me.
Well, I already did that a couple of seconds ago, so that's all part of the stream now. Because that's just the way I roll.
That's alright.
Yeah, no, I'm an asshole. Hi, this is Dan Gilman.
And this is Zach Gaz, currently watching the ad on the stream.
Zach asked me very politely to not start the stream, or at least announce that I had started the stream to him until he was all ready to go. And I'm just a dick. So this week we are taking a look at the PlayStation TV.
We talked about it last week a little bit, so now we're actually going to kind of test it out just to kind of go through some things and see just really kind of how it works or what doesn't work or what. We just want to kind of test it out here.
Absolutely. So ask me anything.
Okay, so this is the PlayStation. Well, maybe we should back up and just kind of explain what the PlayStation TV is real quick in case somebody maybe missed the stream or Bitch Fest last week.
It is basically a Vita TV, which is I don't know why they changed the name. The PlayStation TV seems to be a more or less misleading title.
Well, I think they say that because you can play all you can play PS1 games, and well, I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit. But basically, it's underneath the hood. It's basically Vita hardware, but instead of it being on a handheld, you plug it into your TV. It sells for $99. And then what? You just use your PlayStation 3 controller?
3 or 4.
3 or 4, you're right.
The 4 has the added benefit that the touchscreen on it actually works as a touchscreen.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is...
so this is just the main menu here, which is basically the main
this is a Vita
hub page of the Vita. Exactly. You get the little bubbles here.
The new thing is there's a featured category right here that doesn't really seem to go away ever. So that kind of sucks. Also, the other thing I'm going to show is the store really quickly. I'm going to jump into the store. The store is actually different than the Vita store. So those of us with a Vita are the ones who will notice this most of all. So this basically looks very similar to the Vita store itself. The problem is all of these games you only see stuff that's compatible with the Vita TV right now. So what happens is it says things like PS Vita games for PS TV.
Yeah.
And you have A to K and then L to Z. And then that's it. And you'll notice stuff like, oh, well, here's Atelier, Maru and Totori Plus. Well, where's Rorona, the first one? This is, it's a trilogy, and this is literally parts 2 and 3, whereas part 1, it's not supported.
You know what, at least they did the homework for you, and they tested these games out, not like you're going to be buying a game. And
I would have rather launched the game and had weird support issues than the way that it ended up, in all honesty. Do I own Dust Forest on the Vita? See, no, I don't. You get weird moments like that, because if you're a PlayStation Plus member for long enough, you kind of get into this weird gray area that you're just like, wait, do I own that game?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm the same way with all my other digital marketplaces. You got so much stuff.
So right now I'm just, cycling through stuff, and you will just right off, if you have a Vita, you'll notice this is lacking substantially. But the free-to-play is here in force. And one of the other interesting things is they call classics. These are PSP and PS1 titles. So, and minis thrown in here too.
Oh, so they just bundle everything all in one category.
Yeah, everything's been thrown together. This is everything basically that's not a Vita game. And they have a good assortment of stuff in here. But on the other hand, it also makes browsing a little more difficult.
Yeah, there's no filtering options, are there? Like, I want to just look at the PSP games.
Not to my knowledge. And there's apps, and you can go to featured or family fun, but not really. And I'm pretty sure you can go to like PlayStation Mobile, and you have to specifically go in there to look. It's that's for everyone who doesn't know about PlayStation Mobile. That was Sony's ill-fated attempt
Oh, they even tied that in.
to do
wow.
a TV, or not a. I'm sorry, a phone.
Phone.
Have phone apps, and they were going to do PSP games supposedly that would work on.
But they had PS1 games on PlayStation Mobile. That was like their big thing, no?
Well, it was a lot of PlayStation 1 games, but they were going to try, and it was going to be only select phones, but the select phones were going to be able to play PSP games that you could download from the store. The problem is that no one ever fucking bought that.
Right.
And
yeah,
so you would get weird games that would only come out on it. And so in this, you have a little more sorting going on. So there's actually, categories you can go into. Like role-playing games, you can jump in and, here's all these obscure role-playing games you've probably never heard of.
And so now the Vita TV has, what, a built-in, 1 gig of memory or something like that?
It's 1 gig of memory, and basically, even the way they describe it is that is for save games only. And that
you can't even download,
No, you can, but there's nothing that's... name a game that's under a gig.
Under a gig, exactly. Yeah, so you have to buy a Vita memory card, a bigger one if you really want to do anything. Mm-hmm. Click on the apps. Let's see what apps real quick are available.
No, I'm going into Persona 4 Golden right now.
Oh.
We are going to play that.
Yeah, okay, which is a...
This is a Vita game. This is a Vita card game. I was going to say disc, but they're not on discs anymore.
Because you can insert Vita game cards into the PS TV.
Yes. And interestingly enough, one thing I do like about this is, in theory, it is faster to download. It would be faster for a bigger game to download something on this than do it on your Vita, because the Vita is wireless.
Oh, right.
And wired will always be faster than wireless.
So you got this hardwired? Okay.
It's plugged in. It can do it, but it's right next to everything that has the option.
So why not then?
So why the fuck not just plug it in? So this is Persona 4. It runs the same on both of them. I haven't noticed any issues. I am going back into an old dungeon. Just to do some grinding and exploring.
On the stream, it looks fine. It looks there's no letterboxing or artifacting or.
Yep. No, you're absolutely 100% right. Which is the absolute most disappointing thing about all of this, is that
what's that?
That when it works, it's absolutely fantastic and exactly the way that I want it to work. It's literally a Vita that you plug into your TV. When it doesn't work, the problem is that it fails on more levels than that. So the entire top row, when I was on the menu, those are games that just don't work on the Vita TV at all. So Hyperdimension Neptunia, which I'm playing through right now, I'm not playing through that much of Persona because I beat this game. I reviewed this game when it came out for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
I love this game. I think it's a great game, but I've already played this game to death. I put 80 hours into this game. I went out and bought this game for $20 again. I'm happy I did that, but I really can't see myself, playing through it in a stretch like I did before.
Sure.
So it's it's kind of something that sits in my Vita. So every now and then I'm like, I'm grinding some levels in Persona. What the fuck not? But what I am playing is Hyperdimension Neptunia, which is another it's another JRPG.
And that just doesn't work at all. It doesn't even boot up. Or
It does not work at all.
Now, do you get an error message that says like this game is not compatible, or is it kind of like up to you to figure out that it just doesn't work?
We'll get to that directly after this one. I'll go to one that doesn't work. Let's not burn through fucking everything in the first 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
As you can see, I have a PS4 controller because I have a PS4, and with a touchpad, I'm actually able to, you just see the finger appear on screen, that's me moving it, and I can just go ahead and click on stuff, and it just works. It works exactly like a Vita screen.
Yeah, we see that. Okay, that's pretty cool. See, that's what I thought the touchscreen compatibility was.
And I think it's like you can click in, if you click in either one of the mouse buttons, they both appear on screen as separate fingers.
Oh.
So it works even with the PS2 controller. I like the PS4 compatibility a little more. I think it's a little more ingenious. And it just works more, so I don't actually I can actually keep playing, and then my finger will just fucking show up on screen. Oddly, it doesn't fucking work on the menu. I'm not really, losing. I'm not going to lose any fucking sleep about that, because it's fast enough in the menu to. I mean, even when I'm holding my Vita, I don't really touch the screen that much.
Yeah.
I kind of just I go ahead and navigate with the buttons anyway, so that's pretty much how I do it. So that works for me, but in the same instance, it's just like it's weird that doesn't work there. I don't know why.
That is weird. Yeah, I was just going to say, like, why would it work when you're everything but in a menu? That just seems so weird.
In the home menu, like it's just a series of shit that you see these decisions that are made that are just kind of like, we're going to go through and look at a bunch of PSP, PS1 classics. We're just kind of doing a rundown.
Yeah, we're just kind of
Vita.
testing out the PS TV here.
Yeah, I'm going to call it the Vita TV.
Which is basically a Vita TV. Just
I think that branding,
the names are kind of interchangeable.
I think that branding makes more fucking sense, but yeah. It's just like, it's small little shit like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
That I can that you just kind of sit there and go, this is a patch. This is something that is, maybe like a 5-second patch. This could come out in like a week or two, and it would make this product so much fucking better.
And it's got to be hardware related. I mean, it's just so
I don't
weird.
I don't think it's hardware related, which is the weird part. I'm pretty sure that this is all like weird software stuff. That it came down to the decision of like, are we going to ship this, this year, or are we going to wait for it to be finished? And the answer was, we're going to ship it this year.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that you look at the product that they put out, and it's hardware-wise, it's a Vita that hooks to your TV, and it doesn't have its own screen. Gripes aside, like, I don't know if the DHCP is hardwired into the Vita itself, and that's something that, that's digital copyright stuff. That's for streaming. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
So, like, I had to buy a $20 part, basically, to make this possible, which is fine, because with that $20 part, I was able to get rid of one. It replaces one of my splitters, basically.
Okay.
And it gave me added functionality of removing DHCP.
Wow, okay.
So, like, I have a nice HDMI splitter, basically, at this point. But it's, it's
that's still really friggin'
Netflix weird. Doesn't work.
Yeah, that's...
And, like, Netflix is the only reason half these systems even have DHCP to begin with.
But there's no Netflix on here.
Yeah. So there's
no Netflix app, that's...
Well, no, there is, like, I don't know if it's coming, but, like, I have a Netflix app installed, and when it first came out, if you tried to launch it, I haven't tried since. I don't know if it works now. It would literally say this app does not work.
Oh, okay. That's
And so
right.
and it's just like you sit there and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't. Whatever. That's weird.
Yeah,
That's fucking weird.
and like Netflix didn't work. How the fuck does Netflix not work? Like everything that launches.
Anything that has a screen is compatible with Netflix nowadays.
That's the point of most products that exist that connects
You
to
want to
screen.
get the Netflix app, exactly. Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah.
uh, you're using the PS4 controller. That's connected wirelessly.
Are you using it on your Vita or your Vita TV?
Yeah.
Because Netflix works on my Vita perfectly fine.
Not on the Vita TV.
The
That's
problem,
what-
we're bitching about the Vita TV at this point.
We're playing. This is the PlayStation TV that we're playing on. Just kind of testing it out, seeing what works and what doesn't work, and how it works.
Yeah.
So we're just complaining that the PlayStation TV is not compatible with any kind of a Netflix. There's no Netflix app. It doesn't work, even if you try to boot up the
At
Netflix
launch, it didn't. I haven't tried it since.
app. Yeah. I haven't seen any like news updates that it's been updated.
There was a patch that came out, but what happened with the patch is that it updated the firmware, and the great thing about that was, so they updated the firmware of the Vita and the Vita TV. Mm-hmm. Well, if you updated the firmware of one, it updated the memory card. If you put the memory card in the other system, it basically told you that you had two options, and it was to either format your card or update the firmware.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, and like the option to format the card is substantially larger than to update the firmware. So you see that and you're just like, I have to format my fucking card?
That doesn't make any sense either. What the?
And it's like the entire purpose of this was, the entire reason people bought this shit, like I bought this shit, was to be interchangeable, so I could basically come in here, play Hyperdimension Neptunia on my TV, and then like when I'm going to bed or something, like swap the card back in and
do a little transferring.
The transfer between the two like it's nothing. And for me, that sounded fantastic. I'm like, wait, that's $100?
So now you can't do that with
you can
even with the firmware update.
You had to update the firmware, but the thing is, so if you updated your Vita TV, because everyone knows at this point you get a new system, the first thing you do is you update the firmware. I'm just sitting there freaking out with my Vita. And I'm like, this sucks. Like, I'm going to have to figure out, like, some kind of workaround. And eventually I read the thing that is like, oh, okay, all I have to do is update the firmware and I'm good to go. And now, so, like, when I play any of the two Atelier games that work on this, fucking hands, I hate those things. When I play,
these are some weird enemies, like a hand with a bowling pin on the top.
Oh yeah. I hate those fucking hands. They like run away, and like there was 3 of them, and no one could decide on which one to attack when there were multiple ones. Well, they're like they're basically the metal slimes. And it's just like, so like when it works, like let's say with Atelier Meru, which I was playing this weekend on my other stream that I do, it works fantastically. I sat here for literally a couple of hours playing that game, swapped the memory card back into my Vita, like, and when I was ready to like go to sleep and play the game before I passed out, because I play my Vita mostly when I'm about to go to sleep in bed, I picked up exactly where I left off. And so, like, right there, that's a perfect case example of exactly what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't miss a beat kind of thing. There's the mild inconvenience that when you switch the memory card between the systems, it says rebuilding database, which I'm pretty. It takes 30 seconds.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that would happen if. I'm pretty sure that would happen if you just, like, I put my memory card in, like, your system kind of thing.
Sure.
And that's just, like, it figuring out how to run on a different,
So now, after the firmware updates, now that you updated your Vita and the Vita TV firmware, you can now transfer the save data, no problem?
No problem at all. But
Okay.
but that points out that in the future, when one updates, you need to instantly go to the other system and update it.
Now, when you update the Vita TV, or the PlayStation TV, correct name, can you just update it without a memory card in it, just using that 1 gig of storage space?
I don't think that the updates are that big.
Yeah.
So I
you can probably do it then, right?
Yeah, I want to say that that's probably perfectly fine.
Okay. So basically, you're going to want to update the firmware first on your Vita TV, then on your Vita itself,
or just like turn them both on and do them both at the same time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, they're getting there, I guess.
Yeah, and like they updated the compatibility list like a week after it came out. Games that just came out, like Freedom Wars, are 100% compatible on it. So that's cool. But the problem is, and like they're supposedly going back through the old library and, like trying to talk to people about getting compatibility there. The thing is, it's like, I have 3 games that just don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of exactly how I feel.
I mean, for $100, I mean, I would have bought a Vita TV, right at launch, just thinking that, okay, I could. I mean, I don't have a Vita, but if I had one, I would want to transfer. If I'm on the go, yeah, I'll bring my Vita, and then when I come home, I want to play it on my TV.
Yeah.
So I guess they're getting there. I mean, I would have liked to have all these bells and whistles right at launch and more compatibility, but it's not like the Game Boy player where every single Game Boy game will work outside of like very niche motion sensor games or things like that. But you got 99.9% compatibility here.
But that's
you
the
don't really
thing.
know
It's
what you're
like
getting.
This is literally Vita hardware.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what bugs me. I mean, so you can play. Let's say you're playing on your actual Vita. You can download any PSP game and it'll work on the Vita, right?
Yeah.
On the handheld system itself.
I think there are, once again, exceptions to it.
Yeah, there might be like but the vast majority.
Yeah, they just
like
work.
PSP games and PS1 games will probably work on your Vita handheld. So like, why it can't perfectly transfer over to the Vita TV is frustrating and confusing.
Yeah, you got me there. So
and disappointing.
I'm backing out of Persona.
Yeah, how do you back out? You got to hit
the home button.
The menu button?
Yeah, you hit the
home button. Okay, so the home button does.
Okay, so we're going to find out. Netflix.
Yeah, click on Netflix.
This application cannot be used with a system.
Which was originally downloaded when you had it plugged into your actual Vita.
When I plugged it in my Vita. If this application is supported by the PlayStation TV system, update the application. So there you go. Not supported. All right. Now, let's go to Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth. Go in.
Give it a shot.
This application cannot be used with the system. If this application is supported by the PlayStation reserved TV system, update the application.
Yeah, which is a Vita game though, right?
No, that's a Vita game, so it should just work. So I think the weird thing is, listed on the site, there are PlayStation 1 games that have been released that aren't compatible.
And Hyperdimension, that's a digital file, right? That's not an actual card that you put in.
That's a digital file.
See, that's...
Oh, Even better, Hot Shots World International, a Sony first-party game,
Doesn't
not
work.
compatible. Yeah.
Fuck.
Hyperdimension Neptunia Performance Perfection doesn't work. Hatsune Miku Project Diva F doesn't work. These two top games I can kind of understand not working. They're really super niche.
Mm-hmm. They might use like the microphone. Project Diva.
Project Diva, I don't believe it uses the microphone, but it uses the touchpad.
Yeah,
so that one, I wasn't surprised with it not working. But the Neptunia PP, there's no reason.
So touchscreen heavy games that use the camera, games that use the microphone.
Yeah,
basically not going to work.
That stuff. So right now, I am going into a PSP game.
Man, it's almost, if you're a developer and if you want to hit the widest audience, it's almost like, let's make a Vita game but not use all the unique Vita hardware features.
Most people,
let's just make a straight up Vita game that doesn't use the mic and the touch panel, just so we can play it on both Vita and on PlayStation TV, you know what I mean? So it's almost like dissuading developers to kind of dumb down their game, if that's the right phrase.
As far as I know, what the fuck is Night Out? As far as I know, most games do not use most functionality.
And here's another Atlas game.
Yeah, Atlas is fucking awesome.
Yeah, gotta love Atlas. This was 2009, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, so this is a PSP game.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell it looks dated. It looks like an early PS2 game.
Screenshot.
Yeah, right? I think that was something if you played a PSP game on the Vita. I have no fucking idea.
So, I mean, this seems to be running smooth. I don't see any, stuttering frame rates. It actually looks very clear, especially here, even on the stream.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like pixel. I think it actually looks pretty great, actually.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like a PS2 game.
Well, yeah, this was a 2009 PSP game, but I'm just from a technical standpoint. Like, there's no drop frame rates, there's no.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it looks good, clear. I guess maybe it's the better.
It's okay. So if I'm going to gripe about it at all, like when it does work, you can definitely tell that it is blowing up assets for games that were meant for a small screen.
Yeah, which is inevitable.
When I was playing Neptunia, icons especially, there would be like small inventory icons that you could definitely tell basically made to be seen,
on the small PSP.
Yeah, like very, very small. And when you blew it up to 50-inch size, even comparable to the console version of it, that's sort of where they would cut corners to make menus load faster, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it was the same thing with the Game Boy player and stuff. I mean, there's some Game Boy games that, don't look as good on the big screen that they do because they specifically made it for the small Game Boy. I mean, there's even games like Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced that said there was an option in the menu that was like, what system are you playing it on? Are you playing this on the regular Game Boy? Are you playing it on a GBA SP? And like the colors and fading and things like that would kind of change for the better depending on your specific Game Boy.
Yeah,
that you were playing with. Which is cool. Which is they're great that they took that extra step and they took that into consideration.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Game Boy the Game Boy Advance, while probably I would say the best handheld system of all time so far, it, there were like 8,000 different versions of that fucking thing.
There was a lot for sure.
Like, there was the original one.
There's the original, like, horizontal design. There was the...
I had the original one, and then I got an SP because, like, you had to sit under direct sunlight. And then directly after that...
There was the Game Boy Micro. And then at the very, very end of the GBA's life cycle, when the DS was out, they re-released the SP version, but instead of having the front-lit screen, it was actually the backlit screen technology that was put into the DS that they put in the GBA SP. It was the very last batch of SPs that were on the market.
Yeah.
That had a wicked screen. That had an awesome screen on it.
Yeah. And like micros, I guess, like everyone would complain that the micros had like a really the screen was too small and it was hard to see.
It was small.
I guess the one thing about the micro that people who did have it really loved about it was, for some reason, text was easier to read on it.
I have a micro. I bought a micro, and it is really fucking portable. I mean, you can put that thing in your pocket and not even worry about it. I mean, it's really for portability. And the screen on it looked great too, because that also was like the backlit screen. So it was, it was small. I remember playing Final Fantasy VI on my micro, and I thought it was a little hard to use like Sabin's blitz attacks. Like you got to put like this Street Fighter moves in, because I thought like the D-pad was a little too small. But that was the point of that. That edition of the Game Boy. I mean, it's pretty cool if you can kind of go back and you play it now. But the other thing that sucked about the micro was it used proprietary link cables. So if you did want to link it up ever, you had to get a very specific link cable that was only compatible with the micro. It wasn't like the universal SP and the original Game Boy, the regular link cable and things like that. And then so there was a micro to micro link cable and then a micro to like SP link cable too that you can only order from Nintendo.com because it was a very niche piece of hardware. Because not everybody's linking up their Game Boys.
Yeah.
This is a weird fucking game that you're playing here. I have no idea what the hell's going on. I've never played this game.
Yeah, I passed it the first time and wasn't really reading the options.
I'm just like watching this, not
You have to like trash talk.
This is fucking crazy Atlas shit, at its best. But yeah, I think the PSP games that are compatible, if you own the digital version of it, and we talked about this last week, but I have a huge PSP library of UMDs, very few actual PSP downloads that I buy. So that's what sucks. Like if the Vita TV or the PlayStation TV had a UMD, if it played UMD discs, then I would buy one right now. But they want to go digital everything. That's what sucks. I'm not rebuying my games when I have so many, and especially like all the PSP games are still $30, $20.
Yeah. Well, they're getting cheaper. I think it's $10 now.
Yeah, a lot of games did drop in price. They're still, but I mean, I fucking own these games. Let me just pay like $1 fee just to like transfer the license. I'm fine with that. But I'm not going to rebuy all these games again.
I hear you. I mean, it's not like Steam or something. I don't know how much I trust these people.
And plus, if it's not going to be compatible or fully compatible,
yeah, I hear you. I just want it to work.
Yeah, me too. I really want this thing, and I really want it to work well. Like I'm really excited for the PlayStation TV, but maybe in like a year, if they continue to support it and not just give up on it like they're basically doing with the Vita, actually like making games and want to make this thing better.
They just need as much compatibility as they possibly can.
Yeah,
and they And it's like, if you go to the PlayStation blog, when they're being completely honest, they literally are basically just saying, we completely understand, we're working on it, we're talking to everyone, please be patient with us.
Yeah.
And it's like,
maybe this could be one of those things where it's like in 6 months it could be awesome.
yeah, and
it's either going to be awesome or it's just going to fade away like everything else that Sony does.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that it's just like, everyone's already written this off, and we're pretty damn close to doing it too. I bought this so we could stream Vita games.
Yeah.
The problem is that, like, how many of them fucking work?
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a crapshoot when brand new games come out. Because, developers now, if they're making Vita games, will have to specifically say, like, in the description of the game when you go to download it, will work with PlayStation TV, or limited compatibility, or, won't work at all. So it's like another thing developers have to do now.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think that's ever going to show up. Like, if you screw up a launch enough, like, they're probably just not... I mean, that's the thing, is, like, if a launch is bad enough, people will neglect it. And it sucks, but, like...
it's one of the... Like, so in 6 months, if Sony really, takes this seriously and, rocks this out with, much
like 100%...
And then they, like, drop it to, like, $50, then they can get a brand new audience.
I severely doubt it's ever going to be $50.
Yeah, they're you know what? They're just testing this out at $100. They're selling it through Amazon and stuff. They're just kind of testing this out and seeing, well, what kind of a response do we get? Let's give into like spring of next year and see if this thing is either completely gone.
I mean, what is it, like the first year that a system's out, you're supposed to just like give it room to do its thing, and it's like,
so let's give this some space and give it some time to grow. But if they just neglect it,
they have to pay attention to this. Like this is not like I don't know, like the PS4, like it kind of came out in a decent fucking state. Like they didn't need to do a ton to like change stuff, but fuck, they really just need to be on top of this.
You want to try a PS1 game?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you don't want to keep playing. I
have no idea what's going on.
I have no fucking idea what's going on either.
It's not like a brawler. It's not quite like a fighting game. Like, this is a weird ass game.
And there's like trash talking and
I don't get it, which is okay.
So I guess this is technically considered a PSP game. I think this is how it sees it.
Oh, I think because it's probably viewing it through like the PSP's eyes as a PS, because you can play PS1 games on the PSP.
Yeah, so it's probably just it using that I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's probably what it's doing.
Oh wow, this is 4x3.
Yeah, the Wildlands was an early PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah, it is.
This is my one of my questions. I wanted to see how it treats. Oh, I mean, all PlayStation 1 games are 4:3.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how it displays it here on the Vita. And how does it? Oh, okay. So it treats it just like you can save it. Just like a.
Yep.
Yeah, that was. I wonder. I noticed on the compatibility list that Metal Gear Solid was not compatible here on the Vita TV.
But Metal Gear Solid HD was.
Which is the original PlayStation 1 Metal Gear Solid was not compatible, and I wonder if it's like multi-disc PS1 game, like this, the Final Fantasy games work. Do you know? Because those are all multiple disc games, and I wonder if there's like a weird thing, like they didn't figure that out how to like swap that over on the PlayStation TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what can we change on the menu, on the Vita menu? I wonder if the cheat in this still works.
What's the cheat?
Uh, it was fuck. It was you could if you swapped items. I think it was during battle or something. You would get 255 of them.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I bought Wild Arms. I still own the disc to this day, and it actually.
A friend of mine and I call this the waiting for Final Fantasy VII game because this notoriously came out the the summer before Final Fantasy VII came out,
and it hit it at the right time. You know, because after Final Fantasy VII, no one would have played this game.
Yeah, and
I never beat. I never beat any of the Wild Arms games. I played the first three. You know, never actually completed them.
I beat the first two. Didn't beat the third one because it's fucking awful. Nor did I. Oh, the screen format. Okay, yeah.
Yes, it says you can change the screen format in the menu.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
Yeah, is there like an option to stretch the screen to fit 16:9 here with the? Is there like if you hit the home button, is there like some kind of an option that you can do?
Not seeing it.
Huh. No, yeah, I didn't. You know what? I don't think that's an option on, even when playing on the PSP. I think you still just have to play it in its native resolution. It's not going to stretch things out.
Yeah, who knows?
Because that was another feature, like on the Game Boy player. Like you can actually stretch the screen a few different ways. Actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah.
The Berry Cave, which is better than the non-Berry Cave.
Well, this this plays smoothly too. I don't see like a drop in frame rate.
Yeah, like I said, when it works really well.
Which is what I want. Which is what I'm looking for.
But the problem is that when it doesn't work,
it really doesn't work.
Yeah, it's fucking garbage. Which sucks because I actually like my Vita quite a bit. I think very, very highly of my Vita. It's they're
for the RPGs, yeah.
Yeah.
Those unique games.
So and there's just been. It just seems like it's kind of. Well, even the PSP was good about having like Jeanne d'Arc. It would have just.
Yeah, PSP had a fucking awesome library.
Just some really fucking obscure.
Yeah.
Games would come out.
Games that you're not going to get anywhere else. They were fantastic.
Yeah, like Dungeon Maker.
Yeah, I had a Dungeon Maker, and the remake of Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre are phenomenal.
Yeah, they're just these fucking weird, weird games, but it's like they were awesome, and it was the system that every now and then you're just like, oh man, I do love some obscure RPGs.
Yeah, the PSP. I mean, especially at like the end of the life cycle, because a lot of like I said, the UMDs were like just dropping in price, and you can get PSP games for really cheap towards the end there. And that's where I filled out a lot of my collection of PSP games. Was just people were like, well, no one's buying this. We're just got to get rid of this stuff because it's old. And
remember UMD movies?
Oh, that was fucking.
Remember
there was no need for that.
Remember when Sony thought that was going to be the next fucking thing? Like that was going to be the fucking wave of the future.
That was a joke.
Yeah, that was just.
There is no need for any of that.
Oh, dude, I was working at GameStop when it was basically Sony had decided to stop supporting those.
Yeah. No one's gonna fucking buy and watch a movie on their fucking PSP
with the battery life of
with
like,
yeah, you can't even like finish a movie with if you got a full like if you got like half a battery, you're not gonna finish the movie.
yeah, it has to be plugged in. You're not fucking going anywhere.
And
The
if you're gonna plug it in, then you're gonna watch it on an actual like DVD player or
the
something.
later versions of the PSP had fucking the screen out shit.
And plus,
Because
there was no extra like DVD bonus features because there wasn't that enough data on.
Yeah, there just
UMD.
wasn't enough fucking room to
There was
do
like
anything.
I think it was like 1.5 gigs or something could fit on a UMD, where there's no way you're getting extra bonus features.
Yeah.
And they were still like $20, so it was like full price for it was awful.
Oh yeah, but I remember when they liquidated them for the longest fucking time.
Oh yeah, they couldn't give those things away.
Yeah, it was like they were $5 for a really long time, and
I
then
think they were 99 cents.
yeah, and then they switched to 99 cents.
And nobody still bought that shit.
Okay, the poor guy just went to drink a beer and inhaled a dog fart. I feel really fucking bad. That sounds awful.
That's a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but when they dropped like that other 99 cents, I just wanted to fucking kill fools.
And especially, I'm sure working at GameStop, people wanted to like trade in there.
Oh, and we wouldn't take them, and people were pissed. And that was almost as bad as when we stopped fucking taking movies.
We should like bitch at Sony or make a joke like, hey Sony, how come my downloaded PSP movies aren't compatible with the PSP Vita, and see if you get a response. Can you even play like MP3s or something like on the PlayStation TV here?
I think I maybe.
What were the apps available? Anything good?
Why the fuck would I care? I have an iPhone. Why would I need to listen to?
Yeah.
Like, we have phones. We're adults. Why would we need to have our PSP, our Vitas play fucking... this isn't like 10 years ago when the Vita was like first coming out and people were like, oh, everything needs to have like MP3 functionality. It's just so people might take it around with them more. And it's like, everything has MP3 functionality because it's like part of a checklist that people like go down.
They just patched, I think it was the Xbox One and like one of the latest updates, so you actually can play like a music CD. Like you could put a music CD in and actually play it. Like they had to patch that in. They didn't even put it in, because we're seeing the death of optical media to begin with.
Well, the thing about that though is that to use a CD, you actually have to, for that license to be able to play it, you have to pay people money. Like, there's a consortium that you have to pay for every single system that's out there. So, they probably thought, how many complaints are we going to get? 100?
Yeah.
How many systems are we planning on selling? 100 million?
Right.
So, let's just not fucking pay them.
Yeah.
And I don't think the PS4 plays music CDs.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the things. It just straight up doesn't play a music CD.
No one's really going to give a shit about that.
Well, and that's the thing, is it's like, and at this point, I'm pretty sure that it's just like a race between the two for a fucking feature list. Alright, so I died. Let's close that game out.
Yeah.
Now let's go into that apps thing that you want to look at.
I just want to see like what is available.
Sure.
'Cause I know there was like a dumb like Paint app, but obviously you're not going to be doing that since there's no touch screen.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want you to do that and hurt yourself. That's not good.
Crunchyroll.
What do they call these? They don't call them tiles, do they? Or like chips or something? What
I have no fuck. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. Crunchyroll and Crackle work, but there's no Netflix.
Oh, so they got... Okay. Oh, you can get tweets. All right. PlayStation Now. Oh, that's it. What the hell is Cello?
HD.
Oh, HD concerts?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
And
so you can get Crunchyroll and Crackle, which not a lot of people use.
a lot of people use, like more than you think, use Crunchyroll.
Yeah, because that's all anime stuff, no?
Yeah, yeah. Which is
But that's
like,
it. So you got 5 apps for your PlayStation.
which it's kind of funny because when we reviewed that other, and these themes suck. When we reviewed that other streaming service, that their thing was they were trying to make it more of a TV station. So you could just like
Game streamer?
no, it was an anime service.
Oh yeah.
I fucking forget what it was called.
I forget. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed. My 3DS doesn't have audio cassette capabilities.
Where's my VCR?
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. So I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that there are games that you can download. The problem is, like the Danganronpa games are pretty good. I'm hopefully gonna buy those and just like stream through those at one point. Because they're pretty interesting games. I'm trying to even think of how to describe them. They're visual novels, but they have more gameplay than just visual novel.
Mm-hmm.
You should really harass Atlas to get me review codes of those. Be like, yeah, I know that they came out like one of them came out like a year and a half, 2 years ago, but you should really give us a review code for that.
They might. See, I don't like how they like bundle. They like, so here's like a PS1 game next to a mini game. Like
yeah.
I want to see like what PSP games are here. Like I don't know why the fuck they don't update that.
I think it's that way on the fucking Vita store. That I'm pretty sure, like on the Vita store and like PlayStation Now, they're all right. Let's just go into PlayStation Now. So PlayStation Now. Oh, I have to fucking download the app. I'm not doing that. PlayStation Now is like so you can play your PS3 and other games.
Yeah. So that's you know what, we didn't talk about that because and there's also like the remote play feature.
Yeah, but everything's remote play at this point.
Yeah, that's like really, I think the big, like if you have a PlayStation 4, you can remote play it, but I guess I don't really fully understand the concept of remote play. I mean, why don't you just fucking play it on your PlayStation 4? Like, do you really need to be in another room?
If it's in the other room, it's like
yeah, but like why don't you just walk the 4 steps into the other room and deal with it?
You fucking got me, man.
I guess it's cool that you can do it, but like, do you really need to? I don't know.
No, I mean, I think that if it was functionality that was just there, that would look like it had more functionality at launch. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this game is more expensive on the store than it is in a physical copy. Persona 4 Golden. Physical copies are like $20.
$20, I think now. Yeah.
And heads up if you have a Vita, all the copies of Hot Shots Golf at GameStop have been marked as used. Almost all of them are new. They do that sometimes. They'll just mark all their new shit used because it's just
so
not
they
selling.
can sell them at a lower price or something.
Yeah, because it's like they have to suggest they have to sell shit at suggested retail price.
Oh. All right.
But if they mark it as used, then they can sell it at what the fuck. Yeah.
You got Final Fantasy X and X-2?
No, I do not own that. It's cross-platform play.
Yeah.
When it came out, everyone thought it was cross-buy. If it was cross-buy, I would have owned it by now.
It's not cross-buy? Oh, it's cross-save compatible, but not cross-buy.
It's not cross-buy, and it's really funny because they announced it.
That's how they get you.
They announced it as cross-buy.
Ooh.
And then when it came out, guess what functionality had been dropped?
You know what? Final Fantasy X and X-2, that's going to be one of like the PlayStation free games in 2 months anyway.
It would not surprise. Well, it's Square.
You never know.
Yeah, you kind of do on this one. It's Square.
Well, if they're still pushing, you got to buy the Vita version and
That's so fucking ridiculous.
That's so maybe not.
All right, so that's been our look at the Vita.
Yeah, the PlayStation TV. It's $100.
Yeah.
It's like okay right now.
Yeah. If they actually do kind of what they're promising to do in 6 months, I would if they can actually make it that it's a Vita that I hook to my TV, I would recommend buying it.
The hardware only takes Vita cards, Vita games, and Vita memory cards, right? That doesn't take Memory Stick Pro Duo cards?
No, but the Vita doesn't either.
Okay. All right.
Well, but if you wanted to transfer a save file, you could probably transfer the save file to your computer and then transfer that to your Vita.
Yeah, you got it. Does it take SD cards or something for some reason?
No. No! It's Sony!
That would make too much sense. Yeah,
of course. It's Sony.
Because they want you to buy the very expensive Vita memory cards.
Dude, the 64 gig one that I'm basically going to break down and buy very soon.
It's like $100.
It's $100, and you have to import it from Japan.
Oh, what's the biggest size here? 32?
32. They don't make the 64 in America.
The 32s are probably $100.
They're 60.
Oh, well, but when they launched though, it was like 100.
Oh, it was like 120
like 40 or something.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There were rumors of 128 coming out, and supposedly they held it back because they wanted it was going to be like more than the cost of the fucking system.
Yeah, it's like exactly the memory card costs just as much as the Vita hardware.
Yeah, ridiculous. Like I think a new Vita's $200, and you need to drop $100 on a decent sized memory card.
Yeah, because you're not going to do shit with like a 4 gig memory card.
Yeah. Oh god.
Have fun playing your one game.
Oh dude, I have Mine came with a 2 gig memory card.
What the hell are you going to do with the 2 gig card?
I bought mine.
You're going to throw it in the garbage. Is what you're going to do with it.
I bought it off of a friend of my wife. Her boyfriend didn't want it anymore because all that was coming out was obscure Japanese role-playing games, and I'm like, that's all I want it for.
Yeah, you're right.
And he's like, oh yeah, I have an 8 gig memory card, no worries. And I'm like, oh, okay.
An 8 you can like deal with.
Yeah, like an 8. I'm like, that's fucking like I'm gonna have to manage what's on it.
You're gonna have to manage it, but you can deal with it.
Yeah, I can live with that until I get like a 64. I ended up paying like $100 for the system because it was used, or it was something cheap like that.
Yeah.
And then I got it, and it was a 2 gig memory card. I was so pissed off, and I just like drove to GameStop and picked up a 16 gig.
You have to get a big memory card for this. Because the Vita doesn't have any built-in.
No. And and an 8 gig is 1, maybe 2 games.
Right.
Maybe 2.
Right. Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the PlayStation TV. Let's maybe give it a little bit of time, see how they treat this thing, if they neglect it or rock it out. I'm going to put my money on letting it fade away.
Yeah, I think this is probably... You'll hear me bitching about this in the future because I want it to work very badly.
I want it to work too, yeah, it'd be badass.
But I'm pretty sure that this is just...
That's it.
We're going to see like 3 or 4 more updates on this, and then that's going to be it.
Yep.
All right, for this week, I've been Dan Gilman. You can follow me on Twitter @Gilman. You can go to my personal website, varms.net. I post all of my streams up there that you can watch. I also post my own personal podcast up there, the Spoony Bard Podcast. New episode just went up today. Feel free to go and watch it. You can also check me out on Mygamer.com. I do more professional-ish stuff there. Zach, you want to tell them about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Zach Gazarowski. You can follow me on Twitter @ZachGaz, ZACKGAZ. Of course, check out mygamer.com. That's where we're from. That's where we post all of our stuff. We write reviews, news, all that kind of fun stuff. We'll post the stream up there soon. And then you can also check out my personal website at squallsnake.com. I'm also Squallsnake on Xbox and pretty much like every other social media form out there.
All right, there you go. And we will see you all next week around the same time. So
yeah, thanks for watching.
Absolutely.